I want to start off by just talking about the practical implications that we've seen in our market. So I believe that we can talk about this topic as we've done it pretty successfully in South Africa. So as it stands now, this is last month's stats. We have more than 164 live AI agents, assistants, and services in production with customers. We processed just over 21 billion Gen AI production tokens last month. So we split it out specifically. POCs is a different topic. And more than 1.7 individual user requests processed through our platform. This is all in South Africa. And I think this underlines the fact that AI can scale in our local market and can be production ready. We have just over 160,000 users, unique users on the platform that participated in September. And some of the brands that trust us show that corporate South Africa is actually ready for this. And this is quite interesting if you look at the talk today. This does not align to the global stats. South Africa is adopting Gen AI quicker than most global companies. And we see tier 1 companies actually deploying this in production. So, thanks. The bad news is that if you look at the global research, specifically the MIT studies, they say that 95% of Gen AI projects to date have not returned any value or has just been cancelled. So that's quite a shocking statistic if you look at it obviously from a risk perspective from a corporate. And a lot of the reasons we'll discuss now that we see in the market, but it was quite easy to get going and build some really flashy demos in terms of chatbots and assistants, but they simply don't scale. And it's not because companies are not trying. Most companies, or many companies, have tested this with demos and with prototypes, but they never got into production. Now, obviously, that's quite a challenge for us. So while we see it fails, is in the world of Gen AI, common sense seemed to have gone out the door. It was mostly a discussion about, look at this cool tool and how we implement the tool in the business. It was never actually about what are the value drivers, why are we doing this at all. It was more led by tools than it was led by business saying, here's a specific need that we have. So this is one of the contributors. We also saw initially this moved so quickly. So you look at, and I'm sure everybody threw out stats today, and most presenters make up stats. In fact, 85% is made up on the spot. So we see that there wasn't a lot of platforms for Gen AI specifically. So most other enterprise systems are quite mature, but this evolved so quickly to the space where currently we have almost 2 billion users globally using Gen AI every day. So the systems and the companies just didn't grow quick enough, and stuff was implemented without the foundation. So that was another cause, is people use point-to-point applications in an enterprise space. What we know is that Gen AI works incredibly well for consumers, and the stats all say that. It's really cool for brisket recipes or how to prune your trees or whatever. And obviously, if the AI says put some arsenic in your brisket, you're not going to do that. You're going to use common sense. But the moment you do that in enterprise, there was just none of these systems in place to help you. It was always a technology thing instead of a business thing, which is surprising because all other projects in corporate and enterprise is led by a business problem, and then you use technology as a resource to solve it. This was the other way around. And then what also happened was, and we see this every day, the CEO and the board says, we need AI, and we want it now, and then people just go find stuff just to put tools in place. There was so much pressure in the beginning of last year to just do something. People just like randomly pick some use cases. The poor CIOs wanted to stay relevant, so they just put POCs and prototypes together. And that led to, globally, this massive failure rate. Fortunately, as I